Real Talk with Sharon Mistowski.
Hi, guys. It's so nice to be here with you guys again. And I have the honor of having Tim Driscoll, former practicing attorney of Colorado. He's a real estate broker with Remax Premier Group here in the Dallas area. He is here with me again. So welcome, Tim.
Well, thank you for having me, Sharon. It's a pleasure to be here. It's always nice to be with the real estate mortgage goddess. And
It really is.
so I've been in the real estate business for over 30 years, and I started practicing law in 1992 and focused on real estate and business law in conjunction with being a real estate broker. So I have
It's really
a
good to
great
have you
deal of
here.
experience.
So I know that we just had the election back in November, right?
Mhm.
And so a lot of people have been asking me, what are the changes going to be? What are we predicting the real estate market's going to do?
Mortgage rates are going to go down. We've got a lot of inventory on the market for buyers. I think sellers still have a ton of equity in their home, and now is a great time to sell. So for both buyers and sellers, it's an amazing time. That just the whole surge in this country is very positive.
Before the election, like the last year, like post COVID, like home prices were going really far up. Inventory, was really low. What has made the shift in the last year with regards to home prices and home inventory?
That's a good question. The inventory of homes has continued to go way, way up. We have more inventory on the market than we've had in
Right.
3 years. Also, builder inventory is quite high. So builders have a ton of inventory they need to move.
And why do you think that is?
Just because buyers have been a little bit hesitant with higher interest rates, and also they're kind of waiting to see the outcome of the election. There was a lot of uncertainty, as we all know.
Yes, a
So
lot.
now things are looking really, really positive.
Yeah.
Sellers, we're seeing more inventory on the market, but sellers are still retaining their equity.
Do you think
Prices
that
have
our prices,
stabilized a
they're
little
not coming
bit.
down at all?
Some areas they are, but basically it's stabilized. But for buyers, it's great because there's so much inventory on the market. We're not seeing multiple offers on every home, and you can and sellers are negotiating a little more, but it's not hurting sellers, and it's a great opportunity for buyers.
That's kind of interesting because you see like the inventory is going up now. So like on the mortgage side, we've seen more people come out of the woodwork now because I think the uncertainty of the future is not so damaging to them. They're not on red
Yes.
alert because of it.
Absolutely.
And so a lot of people are coming out. So like on
And
the
builders also have continued to build inventory homes. So there's a lot of inventory homes with builders now. And we have found that they are negotiating a lot on prices. So if you're interested in a new inventory home with a quality builder, now is a great time to
Yeah.
negotiate.
Now, why do you think do you think that's just because of the uncertainty? People are just more like all this inventory. Why would the builders, knowing that people are coming out of the woodwork now, why would they be more eager to negotiate when there's more
Because they don't
buyers?
like to carry like any retail store. They don't like to carry a lot of inventory. So they've continued to build, and a lot of it's psychological. People are now ready to buy, and it's very helpful to have an agent even negotiate with a builder. We're able to get upgrades on the interior of the home, and also I feel like I can get up to 10% even more negotiating price with builders.
That's kind of an interesting thing because a lot of people say, "Do I really need a real?" We talked about this before on our last chat that I can get a much better deal if I go without an agent because they're going to take that commission. They're going to reduce the sales
Yes.
price of the home. Why do you think that? Why do you think that? How can builders do that, and how can we convey that to our buyers that is not the case?
Well, I think builders respect good agents. And when I bring a buyer in, they're most quality builders. I don't work with all of them. Very happy to see a good agent because we can reassure the buyer through the entire process once they put the property under market, under contract, and work through all the nuances, the interior improvements, and it really can work as a team with a builder. And
Yeah.
they're happy to have us.
You know, on our side, we've seen a lot of people come out of the woodwork wanting investment homes. I've seen more investment home opportunities in the last 6 months than I have probably in 5 years, which is amazing to me. And I don't understand that dynamic because it seems like people have more disposable cash now than what they've ever had before.
Yes.
Why would you think, what's your opinion about that?
Well, I think, along with the housing prices, which have gone up, the rental prices are very, very strong. So people are able to negotiate a good price on an investment home, and with the high rentals and quality tenants, they're able to almost cash flow the property. In some cases, with enough money down, they are able to cash flow.
Because that hasn't been the case in the past. Because people weren't buying them because the interest rates it was not conducive to be able to cash flow
Right.
the property. So it's just kind of interesting. Like we just opened up Colorado this week, and so we're seeing a lot of people, like the people that are buying homes in Colorado, they're mostly investment or second homes. They're certainly not primary, which kind of surprised me for Colorado.
Well, Colorado is a very, very
You're
popular
from Colorado, right?
Yes, I lived in Vail, Colorado for 30 years and practiced law there along with being a broker. And, there's so much demand in Colorado. It's so beautiful, so much to offer that prices will continue to appreciate along with high long-term and short-term rental rates. So it's a win-win for buyers.
It's so interesting to me about what has happened just since I'm walking on thin ice here, because I don't want to irritate someone or piss someone off, because if they're not a Republican, if they're not favorable of the president-elect. But I think that a lot of people are so thrilled about that outcome that we're seeing. It's almost like a party central now. People are coming out, they're celebrating, they're ready to buy, they're wanting to buy. I mean, it's just an amazing thing that's going on right now.
Yeah, I think the pressure is off, whether you like Mr. Trump or not. His policies, working with the feds and in many other aspects, is very positive for the country.
We just had a conversation with a CPA that was here before you, and he was bringing up a point that if you buy an investment property, but if you take it like an Airbnb or a short-term rental, that you get a lot more deductions on that, and it's a lot more favorable, and so you'll be able to cash flow in aggregate by the time you do all your taxes. I found that very interesting. So, do you know anything about short-term rentals?
I've sold a lot of them. The accounting aspect I'll leave to the CPA, but there are a lot of very, very positive tax deductions that make it conducive to buy an investment.
A couple of years ago, Airbnbs were not even on our radar.
Right.
And they just seem to come out of the woodwork recently, right?
Yes. Well, people are wanting to get away and vacation a little more, and even for weekends. So it's a very strong market if you buy in an area that people like to go to, or like a resort, even if they are not right in the resort but can drive a short distance. I think they cash flow quite well.
It's kind of amazing to me. So talk to me a little bit about the market right now, Tim. I know that you're up in Collin County, right? In the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
I mean, I work all of North Dallas area in Denton and Collin County. And we're seeing a big surge in sales and also purchases. So as I've said before, the optimism is very strong. And I think this year is going to be the best year we've had in 8 to 10 years.
I know, I'm so ready for it. The last 2 years have been a little bit sluggish. It's been the most sluggish I've seen in my industry probably for 10 plus years.
Yes.
And so now that this new administration's coming in, I think people are optimistic. People are coming out, and I'm so looking forward to a successful year in 2025 with the potential of the rates coming down. So it's going to be a really kick-ass year. So
people have been saving their cash. People able to put down a decent amount, 5 to 10% down on homes, and that helps with the mortgage rates. And of course, you're the goddess in that area, so it's it's very favorable now.
I kind of am. I'm kind of a big deal.
You are.
I digress for a second. So my granddaughter, she was probably 3 years old, out in California, living our best life. And my granddaughter, because people were talking, we were around different people. We had her for a weekend here and there, and we were doing different things. And one day, my granddaughter, just totally out of the blue, comes up to me, because all these people were coming up to me. We were talking, we were chatting. She comes up to me, and she goes, Grammy, you're kind of a big deal. And I just thought that was so adorable. So it was kind of stuck. I mean, her very first little T-shirt that I got her said, my Grammy's a big deal. I know. And so I thought that was totally adorable. And then that became my computer. We named Goddess. My desktop computer was the Goddess. And so my granddaughter said a few things about that. But there's always a reason for the things in our life. And I think that one has always stuck with me.
Yeah, well, you are a big deal, and you do a great job with mortgages. My clients are completely happy and always come back to you.
Because we're a big deal. We're a big
you're a
deal.
very
That
big
should be our
deal.
logo. Horizon Lending Services, the land of the big deal.
That's right.
Right? It's so funny.
Oh.
So Tim, what advice would you have for potential home buyers now going into this next season that we're coming into?
Well, I would get out looking now. Springtime is when most inventory comes on, so now really is the time. Time goes by so fast. Get out and start looking at some homes. I would pick out nice communities with amenities because those always appreciate a lot better, and there's more things for your family to do, and really kind of look into some new home possibilities and communities as well. And a good agent will help you with that. I am more than happy to tour people through new home communities as well as existing, and I think I can direct them toward communities that I think will be a great fit
And you have a
great
new website
investment
coming out
potential.
for communities.
Pardon?
You have a new website coming out for just communities
Absolutely.
in the Dallas-Fort Worth area,
And-
which are unbelievable. And
Yes.
we will share that so you guys can have access to that. But it's a pretty incredible website,
Yes.
just based on communities because
We're
people
going to
are
be
migrating.
focusing on top-notch communities where homes have appreciated very well, and try to get them in at a good, reasonable price. And I do a lot of negotiating with sellers. I'm not afraid of it, and I think I'm able to come up with a great price and terms for buyers.
Are sellers negotiating like they were before, or is that kind of off the charts?
Sellers are negotiating more because there's more inventory on the market now. So it's not, you can look at 6 homes instead of just, having multiple offers on
Yeah.
one home. So it's really kind of settled down. It's more of a normal market, and it's great for both buyers and sellers.
I know that even like maybe a couple months ago, Tim, is like people were coming in and the sellers were not just negotiating at all. And it was kind of unfortunate because my buyers, they thought they could come in and get a deal because the business was so low. But actually, it was exactly the opposite of what they had anticipated. So it's kind of refreshing to see the market shift right now, which we're
Absolutely.
just super, super excited about.
Yeah, sellers, are negotiating a bit more, but they still have a lot of built-up equity in their homes over from the
Definitely.
past, 6 or 8 years. So they're not being hurt. So it's kind of just more of a normalized market, which is good for everyone, actually.
So, Tim, is there anything that you'd like to share?
One thing I'd
about
like
your
to
company?
share is that there's been all this litigation against realtors and National Association of Real Estate, National Association of Realtors, huge settlements, multi-million, hundreds of $1 million settlements. But it's a good thing. The reason is because it's weeding out the unethical realtors.
Yes.
We've seen a lot of realtors get out of the business, and there were unethic problems with agents. There's absolutely true. And so they've changed the rules a bit, but we don't see it really changing the market much. Sellers are still happy to pay a good buyer's agent to sell their home, and the commissions, which have always been negotiable, are coming down a little bit. So it's a good thing overall, and the
unethical-
market is reacting very well to it, and so don't worry about that end of it.
So, Tim, when you say real estate agents had been unethical, what does that mean?
That means some agents have gone to sellers and said, look, you have to list this at 6%, that's standard. There's no standard commission. So the perception was that sellers felt like they had to pay X amount in commission
Yeah.
dollars when that's not the case. It's always been negotiable.
How can people reach you if they wanted to reach out to you?
Well, you could reach me. I work with top Remax in Dallas, and you could reach me through my website and phone
And
number.
what is your
and just
website?
call me. It's timdriscollrealty.com,
Okay, and your phone number?
469-504-4553.
That's awesome. We worked with Tim for a while He's been in the industry for a very long time, and you're also an attorney, right?
Yes,
Or
I
you were a
practiced
practicing
real
attorney?
estate law. I was admitted to the Colorado Bar in 1992 and
That would
practiced
make
law.
you really old.
Yes. I started young. I started young.
That would make you so old.
So no, I think I bring my legal background into my real estate transactions, which means I take very good care of my clients, protect their interests, and I think I have more insight than the average realtor.
And he lives in the Frisco, Collin County area. So he's very intimately familiar with that particular area. So if you want to talk to myself or to Tim about that, give us a call.
Thank you so much, Karen. It's great to see you.